Hey everybody, I wanted to talk to you a little bit today and have a very realistic conversation about homesteading and like the good, the bad, and the ugly. So with homesteading, there's obviously a ton of benefits, you know, growing your own food, raising your own animals, whether you're raising your animals for like meat production or selling them as livestock, things like that. There's a lot of really good sides to it. Independence from having to go to like the grocery store, things like that. And really just having that really self-sufficient mentality or ability. However, there are bad sides, or not necessarily bad sides, but the unpleasant sides that do come with homesteading. And that's something I want to talk to you about today because I don't feel like that's discussed very often. I feel like a lot of times when people go into homesteading, they have this like very honestly unrealistic view of what homesteading is like, and there is a side of it that's hard and difficult. And yes, there's obviously work and you know, manual labor and things like that, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's a given that you're going to have manual labor when you do homesteading. I want to talk about the fact that animals die. We actually had one of my daughter's rabbits got out, and when she was 5 years old, she decided she wanted to start breeding bunnies and raising them to sell them as pets. And we've actually done a round of breeding with rabbits and, you know, sold them and everything else. So she's made her bunny money and things like that. So obviously very proud of her. And that was, you know, 3 years ago that she got these bunnies. Well, one of the bunnies the other day got out of its cage, and we do have a hunting dog mix. Not sure what she is. We got her from the Humane Society, but she's definitely got hunting dog in her. And the dog killed the rabbit. Luckily, all my daughters were already in bed. I walk out, I see the hunting dog messing with something fluffy. And we do have wild rabbits here, but they're not really all that fluffy. So when I saw something fluffy, I knew immediately, oh my gosh, one of the rabbits got out. And it was one of the females, and I had to clean up the mess. I did let the dog eat it, because quite frankly, my husband and I have rabbits because we raise them should something bad happen to where there's not a dog food supply, because we've all seen food shortages here and there. If something happens to where there's not dog food, we need a way to feed our dogs. So we do raise rabbits for dog food. So I wasn't mad at the dog. I did not yell at her or try to get her away from the rabbit. It is what it is. It's the circle of life, y'all. Was I upset? Absolutely. Did I cry? Like a baby. But I also took care of the situation, got rid of the rabbit and everything else. And I did not tell my daughter that the rabbit died. I told her that the rabbit got out, because it did get out, but it also died. But I wasn't going to tell her that part. That's just not something she needs to know. But that's part of it. We've had, since being on this property, we've had a lamb die. It wasn't in really great shape when it came up here, and it just kind of kept going downhill. And we do breed our sheep for parasite resistance, hardiness, this, that, and the other thing. So if we have a sheep that's starting to get sick and stuff, well, or a lamb, I should say, then it's not going to make it, because we're not going to try to breed that lamb, because obviously if it can't make it through being a lamb, then it's not going to be a good adult. So there are things you are going to have to deal with when you are on a homestead. You're going to have to deal with animal loss. You're going to have to deal with the fact that you're going to have to tell your kids this animal died or that animal died, things like that. You know, we had a very old sheep back in Florida that I don't even know how, but she got I do know how, but like I can't even believe she got pregnant because she was so old, but she had a stillborn lamb. You know, there's things that you have to realize that are going to happen that aren't going to be necessarily pleasant, but they are going to be part of homesteading. And it doesn't make it necessarily a bad thing. It just, you know, it's the unpleasant side. You know, I don't like having to deal with a dead rabbit. You know, my husband doesn't like having to deal with dead lambs or dead sheep or anything like that. Like that's not something that we enjoy doing, but it is part of it. And I don't want anybody to see this channel and think, oh my gosh, everything's perfect, amazing, you know, rainbows, sunshine, and the whole 9 yards. It is amazing. I mean, it is incredible being out here. It's incredible growing our own food and knowing that we have meat production, you know, with our sheep and everything like that. And so like, that is fantastic, but there is that side of it where there are unpleasant things that have to be done. And even outside of, you know, butchering our own animals and things like that, it's just, you know, animals die, pets die, things like that. And it's something you have to deal with, and it's something you have to deal with your children too. And our children are very aware that animals die. They've been around a lot of sheep that have been butchered, so they get it. They get the farm life. But still, guys, there is that side of it. So really take a gut check when you're thinking about homesteading or living off grid or anything like that with animals. And know that at some point in time, you are going to have to deal with an animal that has died. And know that you're going to have the stomach and the constitution in order to be able to handle that. And whether it's you, your husband, whatever, a neighbor that comes over and helps you out with it, but that's something that's going to have to be done. So really think about that too when you're getting ready to homestead and having any kind of livestock in general, whether it's, little tiny, rabbits for breeding, or cows, sheep. I mean, even horses. Horses die. It takes forever, but they live forever, but they eventually die. This is stuff you have to think about when you get into homesteading. So just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what it's kind of been like the last couple of days, and also make you think. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.